Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be going through how to run a server, how to start up a community, build up your server, advertised, do's and don'ts, potentially how you can make money from your server, and all that sort of good stuff. So first things first is you're going to want to find yourself a good server host. For this I suggest myself, SeekaHost. I've just switched over all my servers to them and I find them extremely good, not only price wise, configuration wise and gameplay wise. I mean it's easy to set up and it's extremely fast in game. I mean, I've had no lag compared to other servers, and I have tested out quite a few servers. This is the only one that has kept up with quite a few players on your server all at one time, all building and going about doing that fun stuff that you do in Minecraft. So if you head on over to the SeekaHost website, obviously it has all the information on the front page, and you know, it's pretty good. It's what you expect and possibly more. Extremely easy to set up, like I said before, and the packages are so cheap. I mean, I've checked the market at the moment and I've checked pretty much every well-known service provider, and they don't seem to beat these prices. These prices are hands down the cheapest. So once you've found yourself on here, get started and get yourself a server. So once you've done all that and you've got set up, you're going to want to change some of the configuration settings just to make sure they're personally good for you. So anything from the name, how many slots, if you want to change it so you don't have to connect with an IP and port, you can set up your own domain here for people to connect with. Obviously your server names, you're going to want something catchy, something to do with your server. And then of course whether it's Bedrock, Java, or any sort of type of version of Minecraft, they do have pretty much all on here. So yeah, choose which one you want. So after that, I always tend to go to the files and then the configuration files, and I just like to check the server settings and just make sure that everything is just how you want it on here. We do have a more in-depth video about all the choices on here, what you can do with your server, so obviously go check that out because I won't be covering it extensively in this video, but you can change anything from allow flying, whether you want animals or monsters spawning, viewing distance, you know, whether you allow cheats and stuff like that. So once you have changed that, save that and back out to your server. So at this point, you got yourself a server, you got yourself a cool name, your domain, and you're all ready to go. So you're in your new world, having fun, you're building, but what does make things better is having other people to play with, especially in Minecraft, and especially as you can have so many people playing at once, building, and doing all that sort of good stuff again. So with that, you're going to want to build a community. So one of the first places that I would suggest starting is a Discord, because most Minecraft players, I don't know the percentage myself, but most of them do use Discord or in some part way associated. Plus a lot of groups will advertise and put their applications for their server through Discord, so it's always a good one to set up. So you've now gone and set yourself up a Discord for your server, you've done anything from applications, rules, and you've got different channels and people joining, plus you're able to advertise in other servers to actually get people to join, so it's advertising to a larger audience of people that want to play. But you don't want to stop quite there. You want to keep pushing it. So with that, you join Planet Minecraft. With there, you can start up your own page again, advertise your server. You can link in your Discord, your YouTube if you make videos, and keep everybody up to date with different sort of bits and bobs. Not only that, you can also advertise your server on here, whether it be Bedrock or Java. Plus, there's a huge community of people that you can engage with, or maybe ask questions if you have any problems. Another platform to be able to advertise your server or potentially find other people like-minded, potentially might be able to help you with your own if you've got any questions, is Facebook. Funnily enough, they do have a lot of groups. Not only that, them groups are very heavily used. I've seen anything up to 100,000 members in one group. You can join, obviously depending on what game you're playing, from Bedrock. You can join advertising servers, just general Minecraft stuff, and you can be putting up your IP. You can be advertising for certain people to join your community. Another good idea is actually just to check out other servers, just see how they do it. Obviously not to completely copy them, because you don't want to be mimicking other servers. That won't really look good on yourself anyway. So yeah, just have a little look, see what they're doing, and what you can possibly do or potentially improve upon that and do something for yourself. Now, there are many different types of servers that you can host, anything ranging from just survival with achievements on, heavily modded servers with just only a few mods. You can have economy servers, faction servers, which is where people sort of join different groups and then try and be the biggest group. Of course, you've got anarchy servers, which have absolutely no rules whatsoever, and I'm sure there's many other smaller categories as well. So it's always good to decide on what exactly you want before you start, because then you don't want to be adding shops if you're not going to be using in the economy. And yeah, you want to tailor it really to what sort of server you want to be. And as we're talking about mods, if you are running a Java server or an MCP server or perhaps even a Nugget X server, I would, of course, if you do want to mod it, you can just check out all the plugins, and they have got a huge variety of plugins. I mean, anything from the Dino map, which will put you on an online page. People can actually check where you're playing on the world itself, different armors, scoreboards, cars, gun games and stuff like that. And the list is really endless. And using these, you can also build up stuff like Bed Wars and other mini games that you might want to put on your server. You can also, run multi-worlds. Essentials is always a good plugin, because that will pretty much, it sort of manages your world in a way. It gives you a lot more commands and different options that you're going to be able to pick. So personally myself, I like to keep a folder of the plugins that I like to use the most, and the ones that I will suggest to you myself. Obviously, don't just go for these are the ones that I've used myself, so they work better for myself. Is Essential X. You're going to want Vault, because that works along with that. And you're going to want, where are we here, Lucky Perms. I only use Lucky Perms because it's so easy to use, to set up groups, assign them permissions and what they can and can't do. In fact, we'll head into Lucky Perms now just to show you how easy it is to set permissions. So all you got to do once you've done that is do /LP, and then you want to go to editor. That will give you a handy link that all you got to do is click on and tap yes. So it's taken you onto their site here, and it's going to show the groups that you've created. I've created two, so it starts with default, that's always there. Then I've made an admin and a mod. Now, if you want to give anybody permissions, all you do is you click on that particular one. So for this one, let's do default. You're going to come to add permissions here, and you can choose what permissions you want. You can choose whether they can change their game mode, whether they can use fly or anything like that. If you do choose one, so for instance, what we're going to do is we're just going to give them the power to be able to do /balance to check their balance. So we're going to click that, and it's added it on the list here. Once it's added on the list, you're going to hit add, and you're going to be adding that to their permissions. Now, all you got to do now is hit save, and it's going to give you this. What you're going to do is copy it. So you've copied it to the clipboard by clicking it. So you've come back on your Minecraft, you're going to hit / and Control V to paste it. Just take the first / out, of course, we don't need to. Hit enter, and you'll see it's upgraded straight away the permissions. So anyway, I won't go too far into that, and I'll probably do a separate video on how to do permissions altogether, but that's just a very quick, easy way to get you started. Now let's go through some do's and don'ts on your server. It's always advised not to actually give out your port and IP, although this is completely protected. You've got 24-hour DDoS protection on this server, and I think some other ones do as well, but on this one you do. It's always better to use a domain. First of all, it's much easier to actually click, and second of all, they don't have the complete IP and port number. Next, we're going to have whitelisting. So whitelisting I pretty much always have unless I run a public server, because it's important. People can't just join. So if somebody shares your IP port or your domain to actually join onto your game, that if they're not whitelisted and you haven't specifically added their name already, they won't be able to join on. Another tempting one to do, which I would suggest not to do unless you know what you're doing, is going onto the FTP file access and messing around with files that you're not actually sure what they are or what they do. Again, that's a big no-no for me, because if you delete the wrong one, that can always cause problems further on. Obviously, to an extent, the servers will repair themselves, but obviously you don't want it corrupting any other files due to deleting an accidental one. And plus, it just can get annoying if you do something wrong like that. So another important one again is actually doing backups. Doing backups regularly will save your world in a zip folder. If anything goes wrong, potentially you might even get a bad player on there that tries to ruin it. You can always go back to your backup, upload it, and you've got a nice fresh world again. Another one to be careful for is, of course, OPing people. OP is making them operator, this little crown here. So in essence, you're basically allowing them to do anything from operate cheats if they're on, using commands and all stuff like that. So really, operator is only meant for admins or moderators, people you really trust on your map. Apart from that, you make them a member, potentially a visitor if they really have, if you're not sure about them. Another good place to find admins is stuff like on Discord. Once you get to know players or players that have been playing in game, you've known them a while and you can trust them. Of course, you can rank them up to admin, moderator, or anything like that. You can give them some extra powers, especially on the Discord, and they can actually help you with your server, because it's always good to have a second pair of eyes. Sometimes you might be away, so you're going to want somebody checking over. Rules. I can't stress how rules are not important enough, because it might just seem silly and you might just think everybody knows what rules, you shouldn't grief, you shouldn't dupe and stuff like that. However, if it's not clearly stated, a lot of people will just do what they like. A lot of people will, and they've even said to me, well, there's no rules, nobody said that there was any rules, or they missed out a particular rule, so I thought I was the right to do it. So clearly state the rules, and if somebody does something wrong, really enforce the punishment that you have said. Now, SeekaHost do have a whole variety of very helpful options on their site as well. Obviously, you got your chat up there, so you can keep up to date with everything that's going on your server, people logging in and out, and what time they have. You've got your console here, which will give you a straight access into the console commands, so you can type in things that you have there, and you can also check on it that way. You can check and add players on the players tab here, and then of course you've got your files, everything from configuration files, plugins, local plugins, so if you download them from another source you can of course upload them that way and just check them. Your FTP file access, which is extremely handy, you can just access all your files with great ease and security. And you've got the setup if you want to delete all your old files, start over and start a new server, and then you've got backup, which I've already said, extremely important. If you head down to the advanced menu here, you've got the commands, schedule tasks, which again I can't stress how good that is, because you can do everything from a certain time of day or on a certain day. On certain weeks you can always change it to do stuff like, I program to do my backups automatically, so I'll actually stop the server, I'll do a backup, I'll restart, I'll either pop a little message up on the server just before it happens, just so everybody knows it's about to happen. So yeah, extremely useful. And of course users down here. One thing not to forget if you are running a Java server or an MCP server is just having to look for good anti-cheat, because some people do like to cheat and there are third-party clients that they can use to do that. For that I usually use either Ultimate Anti-Cheat or the Anti-Cheat Reloaded. Again, there is a huge amount of choice, so just try them out and see what works best for you. So at this point you've done all the things above. We've started the server, we've started a community, we've got a thriving amount of people coming on there, and you're thinking about how to potentially bring some money back, because these servers can obviously cost you money and a lot of your time is taken by this. One of the very important things to know is that Mojang do have rules on what you can do and what you can make money with, so it's very important to read these. Obviously you can pause and read this yourself, but I'll just quickly go through a lot of the things that they've got on here just quickly now. And I just want to point out at the top that it does say server, so that's a single connecting port or IP number. So some of the stuff that they do allow you to do is make a charge per person, as long as it's the same for everybody, so you don't just have one person paying and then one person not. You give everybody that you charge the same access to the same mods, so you can't be selling some extra good mods that give somebody an advantage because it will give somebody else a disadvantage. Obviously genuine admin tools are allowed, that is for your admins or mods. You can't be using cracked servers, so you can't use a cracked server and then try and charge for access, but it's not an official Minecraft version. And also that you own the server yourself and you do so the whole time when you charge access for it. Asking for donations is of course allowed as opposed to direct charges. If you do that though, you've got to make sure that everybody reaps the benefit. So if you're doing donations like a group donation, then everybody's got to reap the benefit. It can't just be the one person that paid. So you can sell some entitlements that affect gameplay, providing they do not adversely or negatively affect another player and their experience in the game. And a quick explanation, like they state here, is a competitive gameplay advantage is something that, given identical skill levels, time invested and circumstances, can cause one player or group to perform better than the other. You can sell cosmetic entitlements as long as they're not Minecraft capes. You can provide in-game display, video advertising, sponsorships and product placement as long as they don't degrade the actual gameplay or Minecraft itself. This one can be a bit confusing. It's use and sell in-game virtual currencies such as in-game coins and stuff like that. Although they do say that you can do it as long as it doesn't have any real-world value. You've also got to be very careful, because if it gives somebody an advantage, then that would be breaking the rules. So e.g. if they can buy coins which could then buy really good swords, that would be giving them an advantage. So if you were to do that, you would be breaking the rules. However, if they were to buy something cosmetic, effects that might follow them round or something like that, which won't give them any advantage, that would be allowed. I won't go through all these rules, but if you want to pause, this is the second half of the server settings, and you can just go through all of that yourself and just double check everything. And the latest article that they've released is just basically explaining. I've just had a quick read through and we'll have a quick look through it now, but I'm pretty sure it's just saying that they do understand that some server owners have to make some money off of it, because first of all it does cost them, and again it does take an enormous amount of time to keep these things going. It might need multiple people working on a server if they've got that many people. So again, I'll let you pause over this and you just have a quick read if you want to go through it all. That's the first half, and we got the second half right there. So again, if you want to just check that out, pause right now. However, onwards and upwards, we're going to be discussing how you can make money, stuff like charging people for access and stuff like that. One of the things that you used to have is Buycraft, which I believe now is called Tebex, so you can come and create your page and get people to sort of pay to join, if you are going to pay, of course, following the rules. Another way is making a Patreon account, or Patreon, sorry if I've said that wrong. And you can also charge people for the access and stuff like that. Again, you can't be selling, weapons and stuff, breaking the rules in that way. However, you can charge for access, donations. You've got a cool donations button. And of course, you can just make yourself a PayPal donate button, because you could have stuff like group modifications, and you could say, right, we could raise this much money, and if they do, everybody can reap the benefits of what they've put in. And of course, you can use it to get larger packages. So, the more the group donate, you can say we can up our package to a bigger deal, and, sort of increase that way, which of course will help with the running costs. So I think at this point we've now covered everything you might need to know to start, run, and hopefully succeed in your Minecraft server. And of course, don't forget to check out the SeekaHost Minecraft server packages if you're looking to start one yourself.